Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joined today is our sustainability specialist, Phil Griffey.
Hi.
And he got a haircut.
Hi. He did.
Hi.
Yeah,
like
prepping
it.
for the colder winter months, I'm going to remove my layer of insulation.
Well, it's like back to school time, so like it just kind of work. Like everybody
Yeah.
gets a haircut this time.
Yeah, I was
of
coming
year,
back to work, needed to clean it up a little bit.
right? You got off the bus today. You're so happy to go. Ready
Yep,
to...
that's right. Felt so much lighter.
It does. It does. Well, we've got a couple of things to get to here in this update. We start with the sustainability plan. Just closed up for public comment.
did.
We had that in the month of August. You recently presented at Committee of the Whole. What were some of the things that some of your takeaways that you shared and heard feedback on?
Oh, and heard feedback on. Yeah, so last Wednesday, August 28th, Ted Redmond with Pale Blue Dot, our consultant, and I presented a Committee of the Whole. Had a lot of good feedback from council. There was just a little bit of stuff on, hey, I think it would look a little nicer if you did this thing. It might communicate better if you did this. Generally, the takeaway was there's a lot of positive feedback surrounding the sustainability plan. We've heard this from the public, is that generally people are really excited about this. They're glad that Fitchburg is starting to take action on a sustainability plan specifically. We've done a lot of individual actions over the past 10, 20 years that have worked really well, but not necessarily always prioritized and focused, and so this plan is going to give us that opportunity. I think people are really excited about it, and that was reflected in the comments and questions from council as well.
Ultimately, and I love asking you this question because it's a lot of good stuff here. When this plan is finished and when we're done, where does the benefit come in for it? So I just love that. It's really our blueprints to, obviously a sustainable future, but
and a
it
lot
really
of it
addresses a lot of cool areas.
Yeah, so I did just kind of give the sneak preview there, is that this gives us that ability to prioritize and focus. One thing that I kept saying internally, we're talking about, all right, are we going to do the sustainability plan? Are we going to budget for a consultant? Are we actually going to move forward on this? And I said, this is going to take up a lot of my time over a year and a half. If we're going to do this, it's because this plan ultimately needs to make me way more efficient than once the plan is done. And that is what we're looking to have happen. This plan has created a menu of actions that we can take to accomplish goals in 8 different strategic areas. We're looking at land use and transportation. We're looking at building energy. We're looking at a sustainable economy, health and equity, water, waste. In all of these areas, there's now a whole menu of actions that I can look at instead of trying to rack my brain, trying to do a whole bunch of research. This menu is laid out for me. We're going to be able to put in work to identify what's the low-hanging fruit, what are the different departments that need to be involved in each of these, so that when we're ready to take actions, we've kind of got this laid out and sort of a sneak preview telling us what it's going to take to accomplish these things. This should make any one of these actions a lot more efficient and a lot more expedited to accomplish. So that's the big win from having this plan, is it just makes all of our sustainability efforts as a city more efficient.
You kind of laid out a few of those, but as a reminder, what's the timeline here to wrap this up?
The timeline, so we need to, I'm going to work with the consultant to aggregate all the different comments we've received internally from staff and from some committee members, from council, from the mayor, but also from the public. And we're going to figure out, all right, based on all of these comments, what needs to be adjusted in the plan before we can release the final plan. Once that final plan is released, we're going to bring it to council. They'll refer it out to committees, and then it'll come back to council for final approval, hopefully approval in, the goal initially was the end of October. This might extend into November, we'll see. But yeah, this fall we're going to have this plan in front of council for a thumbs up, thumbs down vote.
Fantastic. All right, you mentioned this last time, and now it's already coming up here in a week and a half. Fall Recycling Day event is scheduled here for Saturday, September 14th, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. right here on City Campus.
Well, you just covered it all perfectly.
All right, well, let's go ahead and talk about leaves fall now.
Yeah, so we do a biennial shred and recycling event. This is for confidential paper shredding. It's for electronics recycling. We got 2 different vendors we work with on this. Each event is really well attended. This last spring was one of the best we've had since I've started with the city. We're just, looking forward. People keep getting bills in the mail and credit card documents and other papers that you don't just want to put in the recycling. So those can be shredded here, and they'll be recycled properly. And then electronics, old cords and printers and TVs and vacuums and all sorts of electronics that you don't just want to throw into the landfill. One, where they take up space, and two, where during the process of disposing of them, you could have things leak into the soil, into the groundwater that shouldn't be there. So bringing those here and having them disposed of properly, and a lot of the components recycled for reuse in various forms. We're just really excited to be able to offer that service to the community and to have so many members of Fitchburg participate, because they're letting us know by participating in it that this is something of value for them.
It's pretty incredible. I was here with my friend Scott. Both of us were here filming it. We were trying to do some fun, unique shots.
Yeah.
Putting that aside, seeing all the stuff that was dropped off. I love just looking at the electronic. Well, I mean, in the electronics business, so
the dumpster that they've got filled with.
Yeah, it's just incredible. But I think it is pretty rewarding to think that, hey, we did the right thing. We're not putting it into a landfill. We're not putting it somewhere where it's gonna not. You just can't. You just look at a TV and like, that's just not going to decompose. I'm sorry, this is not going to happen.
It's not. It's really not. Yeah, but a lot of those parts can be repurposed, or the materials can be recycled.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty cool. There is information out at the website, fitchburgwi.gov, that explains what's free, what's not. So keep that in mind as you're coming down. But I'd say the alternative, the prices are pretty darn good.
Yeah.
If you compare it otherwise, not doing this event and just doing it on your own. So
yep.
Definitely come out. And a reminder too, Phil, too, you're still don't have the Med Drop box of it.
Right. So the Med Drop was a service that was provided by the Fitchburg Police Department. They have stopped. They've stopped collecting old expired medications. You can check out the police department's website. They've got a list of a couple other places that will take old medications for reuse. I believe one is the CVS in Target. I don't want to list anything else because I don't want to be wrong, but there are a couple sites.
Guess what? There's a place for it at our website, fitchburgwi.gov. On the police department's page, they actually have a place of the local resources here to do that. In fact, we'll probably put it up on the screen right now as we're saying it, because that's just how good we are.
Yeah. There's also a quick response. This is always a good reminder. We don't recycle batteries. You can go to numerous locations around the Fitchburg and Madison area to get batteries recycled. If there's a battery that's like part of the laptop, of course, as a component of it, you can bring the laptop in, and you don't have to take the battery out to recycle it separately. But if you've got alkaline batteries, the recommendation now is just throw those away. If you have any kind of like lithium-ion rechargeable batteries that are separate, those need to be recycled somewhere else. We can't take loose batteries anymore.
All right. Like you said, it's all laid out there for you on the website, and check it out for sure. And we hope to see you there on the 14th. All right. Turning our attention, finally, I'd asked him, like, hey, it's turning into fall already. Last time you even mentioned fall, I was upset with you. Now
you're the one doing it, and you shocked me. So
yeah.
I forgot.
You're like, oh, it's not fall yet.
No.
But as we do get into fall, one of the things that love talking to you about is the leaf-free streets and why that's so important. So you look outside right now, and you're like, Jeremy, the trees are still green.
Yeah.
Why now?
I've got a tree in my backyard already starting to drop a few leaves. I'm getting mad at it.
I saw a couple.
I love
that
autumn, and I'm still not ready for it.
I know.
Mad at that
right,
tree.
We're at the point here where you're ending summer and you're beginning fall, so you need that 1 week of like.
Mulberry, we don't need that.
Yeah,
anyway.
But you want all of your pumpkin spice, everything coming.
All of those pumpkin spice season. That's all right. We're getting into the spooky season and all that fun stuff, of course.
There you go.
But that doesn't mean I have to start raking yet. However, once those leaves do start falling, there's a couple big things to remember about that. One is, as Jeremy mentioned, the leaf-free streets. So you see street sweepers out there. We're trying to keep the roads clean. One of the big reasons for that is stormwater maintenance. Is that anytime that rainwater is washing through our streets, it's going into storm sewers. That ends up that stormwater ends up being treated and discharged by the sewerage district, but there are things that cannot easily be taken out of I guess storm sewer is going to go more into just water bodies.
I was just going to say, I'm going to correct you on saying that if it's in the storm sewer, it's going to end up in the lakes, rivers,
It's going to end up in the lakes, river, streams, yeah. So the reason that we want to keep sediment out of our street gutters and storm sewers is because those are, one, you can clog up the sewer drains and you get, overflow backup things there. But whatever ends up going into the storm sewer, you're right, it ends up directly into lakes and streams. So when that means leaves, what can happen is a lot of leaves filling up creeks and rivers and lakes is those break down. You get an excess of certain nutrients that cause things like algae blooms, and it ends up causing problems for the ecosystem. So if you're raking your leaves, really want to make sure that if you need to get them off your property, put them in bags properly. Make sure that the leaves are being disposed of properly there. Don't just sweep them into the streets or rake them into the streets. If you're able to, if you can chip those leaves up, grind them up, and mulch them into your landscaping, into your gardens, a small amount into your lawns, keeping the leaves on your property is a way to recycle those nutrients back into the soil. That's really the optimal solution. I understand that sometimes you just get way too many leaves, and it's more than can break down reasonably on your property. But then make sure that you're bagging them up and having them picked up rather than raking them into the streets. We want those leaf-free streets all autumn long, so that we don't have just an insane amount of detritus ending up in things like Swan Creek.
It's true, and brush yard waste collection dates, by the way, are out on our website. October 14th through the 18th and November 11th through the 15th are the 2 yard waste pickup dates that you referred to if you're going to bag them up in the yard waste. And you can pick up a yard waste reusable bag here if you want to for just $5.
Oh, what a deal.
What a deal. So if you want to pick up some of those and do that, that's great. I always tell the story that I've taken the leaves and put them in my garden the last 5 years, and I've ended up collecting 3 neighbors' leaves.
You take their leaves.
Because it's amazing what it does with the soil and turns that soil into. Yeah, it's incredible. So if you have to see it to believe it, but they will compost really well. I'm just throwing it out there. I do leaves and grass together, and then I like to also mulch them in as well.
Oh,
so
sure, yeah.
It's like a fine balance thing, but when they come down really heavy, it just gets a little difficult to do.
Yeah, I'll do one final mowing of the season across my lawn and chop up the leaves as best I can there. A lot of those will break down into the soil. If you have too many leaves, you can just kind of suffocate the grass. And so I've got a couple trees, especially the mulberry is one of them, that it's just a mat of leaves. And so I do have to rake those up and collect them, and I'll kind of put those into landscaping or compost. But yeah, a lot of different good uses for them.
All right, Phil, appreciate the update. Next time we'll be talking about the color of leaves, because it'll be October, and you'll be like,
October, we're going to be definitely into yellows and oranges by then.
There you go.
We may not have hit peak color, but we'll be getting there.
All right. Thank you so much, Phil, for your time. Appreciate it.